Olivia Green had consistently followed the path of correctness. She toiled into the night, consistently met every deadline, and poured her heart into a position that scarcely covered her expenses. Yet, when Harrison Cole, the merciless leader of Cole Enterprises, fixed his icy gaze upon her, all her efforts disintegrated. "You're fired," he stated bluntly, as if it were nothing of consequence. Little did Olivia realize that Harrison's life was on the brink of chaos. For the instant he spoke those words, he remained blissfully unaware that she was the daughter of an unexpected figure, his wealthiest backer. Before we dive in, please give this video a thumbs up and share your location in the comments. Your support enables us to share more impactful narratives. Let us commence. Olivia Green sat at her desk, gazing at the screen of her computer, her fingers suspended above the keyboard. She had toiled relentlessly for the past 3 years at Cole Enterprises. Each late night, each project she dedicated her heart to. Yet today, it seemed as though it was all in vain. The words on her screen shone brightly, echoing the dread she had been grappling with for weeks. The organization was reducing its size and she had become dispensable. Her phone rang, pulling her back from her reverie. The call came from a number I didn't recognize. She paused for a moment, then replied, "Olivia, Harrison Cole would like to see you in his office." Without hesitation, the voice on the other end responded, detached and businesslike. Her heart sank. Harrison Cole, the CEO she had looked up to since her very first day at the company. He possessed strength, charm, and an unyielding nature. To him, workers were merely figures on a financial report. Yet Olivia had always held a firm belief in the purpose of their endeavors, even when the financial rewards were not guaranteed. As she rose, her legs felt heavy and unyielding. She adjusted her blouse and tidied her skirt as she approached his office, her mind swirling with thoughts. What is about to unfold now? She had dedicated herself tirelessly, consistently met every deadline, and endeavored to demonstrate her value in the position she occupied. But today, she sensed that everything was eluding her grasp. As she approached his office, the grand oak door loomed before her, exuding an air of authority. With a steadying inhale, Olivia rapped her knuckles against the door. A soft invitation to enter resonated from beyond the door. She grasped the handle and stepped into the chilly clinical office, characterized by its expansive windows and contemporary furnishings. Harrison Cole stood by his desk, a figure of contemplation in the quiet room. With his back to her, he gazed intently at the sprawling city skyline. "Olivia," he stated, his tone steady yet resolute as he pivoted to face her, "I will be concise and to the point. Your services are no longer required." His words struck her with the force of a blow, causing the world around her to momentarily fade into a haze. She blinked, struggling to grasp the unfolding events. "What is this?" she inquired, her voice quivering. "Could you clarify what you mean? I have spent several years in this position. He interrupted her, his eyes icy as he returned to his desk. "I understand that you've been putting in a lot of effort, but the focus of the company has changed. Your presence is no longer required. I regret to inform you that this marks the conclusion." Rush of emotions surged through her, leaving her momentarily breathless. Fury, terror, incredulity. What could possibly be causing this? She had devoted herself entirely to her work. Everything was fading in a heartbeat. Just as she was poised to reply, the shrill ring of Harrison's phone shattered the tense silence that enveloped them. He cast a quick look at the screen before, confidently reaching for it. Cole announced, his voice cutting through the air. A moment of silence hung in the air as his demeanor shifted, his brow knitted together, and his lips formed a tight line. Olivia sensed a shift in the atmosphere, even though the words exchanged on the other side remained a mystery to her. Harrison's gaze snapped up to connect with hers. "What do you mean, it's her?" he inquired, the question piercing and immediate. He paused to absorb the conversation, then hung up and turned his attention back to her. A change had settled in the space that separated them. He had lost the composure and poise expected of a CEO. A shift had occurred. He was shaken. Olivia's thoughts swirled in a whirlwind of confusion as she contemplated the events that had just unfolded. What did he mean by saying it's her? The tension was palpable, Yet she remained oblivious to the fact that this phone call was on the verge of turning her entire world upside down. Harrison Cole was unaware that the instant he let her go, he had unknowingly set in motion a chain of events that would change his life irrevocably. And Olivia was on the brink of discovering that the man before her did not possess all the authority. Harrison Cole remained in place, the phone still in his grasp, his gaze fixed on Olivia with a fervor that was entirely new to her. The words he had just heard over the line appeared to have unsettled him in a manner she couldn't quite grasp. For a fleeting moment, his expression softened, hinting at a flicker of regret for his choice. Yet in an instant, the icy, methodical facade of the CEO returned. He cleared his throat, and for the first time Olivia noticed a glimmer of doubt in his gaze. "Olivia, I need you to take a seat," he said, motioning toward the chair opposite his desk. His voice, though softened from moments before, still carried a chill that left her feeling unsettled. Olivia paused for a moment, then acquiesced. Her legs wobbled beneath her, and she sank into the chair, an overwhelming sense of diminishment washing over her. She yearned to voice her thoughts, to inquire about the reasons behind this situation, yet the words remained trapped in her throat. Her thoughts swirled chaotically, consumed by the realization that her life was on the brink of a profound transformation. Harrison's gaze flickered to the side as he swept a hand through his meticulously styled hair, evidently attempting to collect his thoughts. He inhaled deeply and settled back into his chair, gazing at her with an intensity that twisted her stomach. He seemed to be grappling with how to navigate the situation. "Do you even have an inkling of my identity, Olivia?" he inquired abruptly, his tone subdued, as though he were gauging her reaction. Olivia blinked, her mind swirling with uncertainty at the question posed. "Certainly I'm aware of your identity. You are Harrison Cole, the Chief Executive Officer of Cole Enterprises. I have been employed here for 3 years. He lifted a hand, interrupting her. "That's not quite what I'm trying to convey. You have no idea who you're truly up against." Her heart pounded in her chest. What was he referring to? The circumstances were already peculiar without him introducing further bewilderment. Just as she was about to reply, the office door burst open, revealing a man she had never encountered before. He exuded maturity, impeccably dressed, with a presence that effortlessly seized the attention of everyone present. His presence exuded strength, drawing others in with an undeniable allure. He halted at the sight of Olivia, casting a sidelong look at Harrison, an eyebrow arched in curiosity. "Harrison, is this the correct one?" the man inquired, his voice rich and velvety. His voice carried an unsettling quality that sent a shiver coursing through Olivia. Harrison rose to his feet, his expression now gravely intense. "Indeed, she is the one," he remarked, his gaze darting anxiously between the man and Olivia. "I found myself uncertain about how to approach this, but the moment has come for you to be informed." Olivia sensed her heartbeat accelerate as the atmosphere in the room grew increasingly charged. She was unaware of the unfolding events, yet whatever was occurring was beyond anything she could have ever envisioned. The man advanced, his gaze firmly fixed on hers. "I regret to inform you, but your role with Harrison goes beyond that of a mere secretary. You are so much more than that. You are the offspring of an individual of great significance, a figure who has been quietly orchestrating the operations of Cole Enterprises for an extended period." Olivia stood still, her thoughts swirling in a tempest. Child of a notable figure, she was perplexed. Her father drove a truck for a living. Her mother was employed in the nursing profession. They were ordinary individuals, nothing remarkable. What was this individual discussing? Before she had the chance to voice her inquiries, Harrison interjected once more, his tone heavy with remorse. "Olivia, I was unaware of your identity." "I was completely unaware of your family's identity. Had I known, I would have never treated you as I did." Her breath hitched in her throat. "Could you clarify what you mean? What is this regarding? What's happening?" she inquired, her voice quivering. At that moment, the man who stepped into the office regarded Harrison with a familiar smile. "She is the offspring of your wealthiest backer, Harrison, the individual whose financial support has sustained this company during its most challenging periods. You've been laboring for her father without even being aware of it." The room whirled around Olivia, her thoughts racing to make sense of the chaos unfolding before her. Is it her father, the wealthiest investor? She sensed herself descending into an abyss from which escape seemed impossible. Harrison's complexion faded to a ghostly hue. He appeared as though he had encountered a spectre. The revelation struck him hard, and for an instant, the silence was so profound it felt nearly unbearable. Olivia found herself in a whirlwind, her life completely transformed in just a few fleeting moments. She had faced dismissal, endured humiliation, and now she was discovering her connection to the very person she had believed she knew nothing about. The man glanced at her, his gaze becoming tender. I regret how you were treated. We never intended for it to turn out this way, yet now you are aware. Here your influence is greater than you could have ever envisioned. Olivia remained motionless, her thoughts whirling as the words lingered around her. The man who had stepped into the office, the one who had just disclosed this monumental truth, was still observing her intently, anticipating her response. Yet she found herself unable to stir. Her body was enveloped in a haze, thoughts spiraling in a tempest of uncertainty and shock. How can this be possible? How could her father, her everyday, diligent father, be the one accountable for the fortune that sustained Cole Enterprises? She glanced at Harrison, his complexion drained and taut. The familiar air of assurance vanished, supplanted by an emotion that almost mirrored fear. The impact of the realization struck him deeply, and it became evident that he was lamenting every word he had spoken to her before. Olivia, Harrison began, his voice barely a whisper. I didn't know. Had I been aware, the outcome would have changed. I promise I wouldn't have let you go. She could sense the genuine emotion in his voice, yet it held no significance for her. The harm had already been inflicted. The deep shame, the feeling of being let down. It felt overwhelming to take in at that instant. How could she have been unaware? How had her family managed to conceal this secret from her? After years of effort and determination to carve out her identity, she found herself in a whirlwind, as everything she believed about her existence was suddenly thrown into disarray. The man who had spoken earlier, the one who had revealed the shocking truth about her father's wealth, stepped forward. His expression grew gentle as he noticed the bewilderment and sorrow etched on Olivia's face. Olivia, I understand this may be overwhelming, he said softly, but your father's role in this company is much more significant than you can possibly comprehend. His investment has enabled Cole Enterprises to flourish, and he has been subtly backing the business for years. He is the driving force behind the company's resilience during challenging periods. Olivia felt her heart racing in her chest. She longed to pose countless inquiries, to insist on responses, yet the words eluded her grasp. Instead, she simply remained still, overwhelmed by the sensation that all her efforts had been in vain. The man pressed on, his tone unwavering and composed. You're more than just a member of the team here, Olivia. You possess strength, and you wield authority. The unwavering support from your family has been the foundation of this company, and while Harrison has been at the helm, he remains unaware of the true orchestrator behind the scenes. Harrison squirmed in his seat, glancing anxiously from Olivia to the man. What do you wish for me to do? He inquired, his voice trembling ever so slightly. I've committed a significant error. I regret the decision to let her go. The man shifted his focus to Harrison, his expression growing stern. This requires your attention and correction. Trust has been shattered, and now the path to rebuilding it lies ahead of you. Olivia is worthy of so much more than what you offered her today. She is worthy of respect, and she should hold a position that truly represents her value. Olivia's thoughts were swirling in a chaotic dance. A part of her yearned to unleash her fury, to shout at them for their treatment, yet another part, a more profound part, pondered what her life might be like at this moment. Armed with this newfound understanding, she found herself holding the keys to an unimaginable realm. Was it truly possible for her to enter this realm? Could she seize her destiny in a manner she had never envisioned? She faced Harrison, her voice unwavering yet brimming. With an emotion she struggled to hold back. You let me go, she said softly. You embarrassed me in front of the entire group, and now you're suggesting that I hold any power? I find myself questioning my own identity." The man spoke once more, his voice steady yet gentle. "There's no need to grasp every detail immediately, Olivia, but it's important for you to comprehend this. You possess choices at this moment. You hold the reins, and no one can strip that away from you." Olivia sensed a flicker of something profound inside her. It wasn't just anger, although that was present as well. It was an experience beyond the ordinary, a profound sense of awakening. For the first time, she sensed that she was more than merely their part of the system. She had transcended her role as a mere secretary. She possessed strength, a vision of what lay ahead that was entirely within her control. Yet, the journey that lay before them would not be without its challenges. As she glanced back at Harrison, it dawned on her that this had transcended mere employment. It revolved around a profound matter, one that had the potential to alter the trajectory of her existence indefinitely. The dilemma was clear. Would she seize the chance before her, or would she allow the apprehension of uncertainty to restrain her? Her heart raced as she offered a quiet bow to herself. She would discover her true self, step into the light, embrace your presence, and take center stage. Olivia Green was determined to leave her imprint on the world, regardless of the challenges ahead. Olivia remained still, lost in thought for what seemed like an eternity, her thoughts swirling rapidly. The burden of all she had just discovered felt overwhelming to comprehend. The existence she had known, the battles she had fought, all of it had been a facade, or at the very least a portion of it. How had her father concealed this from her? How could she have been oblivious to the treasure that had been so close to her all this time? Harrison's voice interrupted her musings, quivering with remorse. "Olivia, I promise I was completely unaware. Had I been aware, the outcome would have changed entirely. I could never have treated you in such a way." She felt the urge to shout at him for answers, yet deep down his apology had lost its significance. She had transcended her role, stepping out from the confines of her colleagues' scrutiny. No, Olivia had transformed into someone entirely different. She possessed the strength, the sway, and along with it emerged a duty she had never envisioned. Her gaze returned to the man who had revealed the truth. Marcus was his name, and he held a pivotal role as one of the key partners at Cole Enterprises. He was present when her father made the initial investment in the company many years prior. He was among the select few who understood the full extent of her father's involvement, and now it appeared that Marcus was attempting to steer Olivia into a position she was nowhere near prepared for. "Olivia, this goes beyond mere finances," Marcus murmured, his eyes fixed on her with a piercing intensity. "Your father refrained from investing due to his desire for control. He put his money into this company because he had faith in its vision and possibilities. Yet beyond that, he had faith in you." The words hit Olivia with the force of a thunderclap. "Did you have faith in me?" she repeated, grappling with the meaning of his words. "I had no prior knowledge of any of this. It was never brought up by my father. What's the reason for this moment?" With a heavy sigh, Marcus moved in closer to her. "He has consistently been your shield. He hoped you would carve your own path in life, discovering your unique version of achievement. He wished to spare you from the weight of his riches, from the influence he possesses. Now that you're aware, it's your moment to rise to the occasion. It's time to stop concealing your true self." Olivia couldn't believe what she was hearing. "I'm uncertain if I'm prepared for everything that lies ahead. I've dedicated my life to finding my place, to demonstrating my worth, and now you're suggesting that I've been a part of something far more significant this entire time?" Marcus gave a slight nod. "That's precisely what I'm conveying. However, Olivia, there's something important to consider. You've transcended the role of merely being someone's daughter. You hold a pivotal role in shaping the future of Cole Enterprises, and a decision lies before you. Will you embrace the opportunity that awaits you, or will you allow fear to keep you from moving forward?" Her heart raced within her as his words took hold, an essential contributor. The gravity of those words was both a heavy load and a doorway, a moment to reshape every aspect of her existence. Yet the weight of the pressure and the burden of expectations felt utterly stifling. Harrison, previously silent, gazed at her with a sense of regret. "I don't seek your forgiveness, Olivia, but I assure you I'll do everything necessary to set things straight. I'm here to assist you, back you up, and provide whatever you require. I'm really hoping this doesn't alter the bond we share." She locked eyes with him, and for the first time since the conflict erupted, she recognized the genuine emotion reflected in his gaze. He wasn't merely expressing regret for letting her go. He was acknowledging his failure to recognize her, to grasp the essence of who she really was. In that instant, a transformation occurred within Olivia. She had dedicated her entire existence to remaining unseen, navigating her path without depending on anyone else. But now she understood that she didn't need to face it by herself. She faced a decision. She had the power to shape her destiny, or she could allow it to fade away. The choice was far from simple. This journey was far from simple. Yet she had transformed since the day she first stepped into Cole Enterprises a few months prior. She possessed a hidden resilience, and now was the moment to allow that resilience to illuminate her path. "I can't predict what lies ahead," Olivia stated, her voice calm and her gaze firm, "but I'm determined to discover it. I will ensure this succeeds both for myself and for my father." Marcus beamed, his eyes sparkling with delight. "That's the attitude. Welcome to the next chapter of your journey, Olivia." As she pivoted to exit the room, an unsettling sensation lingered, whispering that this was merely the onset of something greater. The journey ahead was shrouded in ambiguity, yet one truth remained undeniable. She had transcended the role of a mere secretary. Olivia Green stood on the brink of greatness, determined to leave her imprint on the world, and nothing would stand in her way. The subsequent days unfolded in a flurry for Olivia. She had chosen to enter her father's realm, to accept the authority and duty that accompanied it, yet each stride she took felt like venturing into unknown lands. The organization, the individuals, the anticipations, it felt utterly daunting. The pressures of the office environment were not her only burden. It was the unending echo of Harrison, the man who had let her go. The vision of him before her lingered, his eyes filled with remorse as he sought her pardon. She was uncertain if complete forgiveness was within her reach, yet one truth remained clear to her. She had transformed from the individual who had entered that office a few months prior. The initial days in her new position were packed with extended meetings and ongoing conversations regarding the company's future. Olivia found herself in a whirlwind of learning, strategy, finance, and operations. But what caught her off guard was the frosty welcome from certain senior executives. She was not given the respect she deserved. She was not perceived as competent. To them, she was merely the offspring of a wealthy investor, a person who had received everything effortlessly handed to her. Initially, Olivia experienced the sharp pang of their disregard. It felt like they were anticipating her downfall, eager to validate their doubts. Yet with every day that went by, a transformation began to take root within her. She refused to be defined by them. She refused to allow their doubt to define her. Value. One afternoon, while she was going over some documents in her office, Marcus entered. His demeanor was grave, yet a glimmer of admiration shone in his gaze. "Olivia," he started, "I've been observing you. You're managing this situation with remarkable skill and poise. It's time to showcase your talents to the rest of the company." She glanced up from her documents, taken aback by his remarks. "Could you clarify what you mean?" "You're not merely defined by your father's legacy," Marcus said, leaning against the desk. "You've demonstrated your abilities, but now it's your moment to reveal them to the world." Olivia experienced a powerful wave of self-assurance swell inside her. Her presence wasn't solely a result of her father's wealth. She was present due to her abilities, her ambition, and her unwavering resolve to achieve her goals. It was time to emerge from the shadows of her last name and embrace the woman she had transformed into. The following day, Olivia stepped onto the stage at the company's quarterly meeting. Her heart raced within her as she faced a room filled with doubtful executives. Yet as she started to articulate her thoughts, a shift occurred. Her voice, initially hesitant, became more confident. The thoughts that had been dancing in her mind for weeks started to emerge with newfound clarity. She was unveiling a vision. She was articulating a vision for the future of Cole Enterprises, a future that she intended to mold. As she articulated her thoughts, the atmosphere in the room began to transform. The executives who had previously overlooked her now straightened in their seats. All eyes were riveted on her every utterance. They were attentive. They were beginning to have faith in her, and that was everything she required. As the meeting concluded, Marcus approached her, a beaming smile illuminating his expression. "Congratulations, Olivia. Your respect has been rightfully earned. Your presence here is well deserved." Yet Olivia was not contemplating the newfound respect she had just earned. She pondered the possibilities that lay ahead. She had embarked on her journey to forge her own destiny, yet she understood that the journey ahead would be fraught with obstacles. There would be additional uncertainties, more individuals who questioned her abilities. However, that was of no consequence. What truly counted was her unwavering belief in herself. For the very first time, Olivia experienced a sense of invincibility. As she exited the meeting room, she noticed Harrison lingering by the door. He had been observing her the entire time. As their eyes locked, she recognized the familiar regret reflected in his gaze. Yet, on this occasion, it was devoid of any trace of pity. It was pure admiration. She no longer sought his approval. Olivia discovered her inner power. She had transcended her role, no longer merely the secretary, the woman who had been disregarded. She was Olivia Green, an undeniable powerhouse. She was determined not to let anyone, especially not Harrison, stand in her way. The path that lay before her would be challenging, yet she felt prepared. This time, Olivia was not merely existing in the shadow of her father's legacy. She was crafting her own. With each passing week, Olivia's influence within the company grew increasingly apparent. She actively sought out opportunities instead of passively waiting for them to arrive. They were brought into existence by her. Each gathering, each choice, each obstacle transformed into her arena. With every triumph, no matter the scale, she garnered the admiration of those around her. It was undeniable that she possessed a remarkable vision, and even more crucially, the bravery to chase after it. Yet, as Olivia's ascent continued, a singular question lingered in the recesses of her thoughts, one that had shadowed her from the very beginning. Harrison, the man who had let her go, soon discovered that she was the offspring of his wealthiest backer. Their relationship began in the most unfortunate way imaginable, and yet an unvoiced connection lingered between them now. Harrison observed. Her metamorphosis noted the intensity in her gaze, and within himself, he recognized that he had misjudged her potential. As Olivia wrapped up a meeting in her office, Harrison entered the room. He wasn't wearing his typical sharp suit. Instead, he opted for something more relaxed, a style that took her by surprise. She looked up at him, partly anticipating an apology. Instead, he gave her a smile, genuine and warm, as if he had been anticipating this moment just as much. "Olivia," he started, his tone gentler than she recalled. "I wish to express my sincerest apologies for all that has transpired, for questioning your abilities, and for allowing my own pride to cloud my vision of your true potential." Olivia gazed at him, her mind a tempest of thoughts. She had anticipated this apology for so long, yet in the moment it arrived, uncertainty clouded her thoughts on how to reply. She had struggled fiercely to establish her identity, to transcend being merely a name, and she found herself uncertain about whether she could ever forgive him for his initial treatment of her. "I don't require your apology, Harrison," she stated at last, her tone unwavering. "I've discovered the strength of independence, and I believe you've gained some insights as well. Perhaps it wasn't solely my abilities that you misjudged." He nodded, a glimmer of comprehension reflected in his gaze. "Indeed," he murmured softly, "and for that my gratitude will never wane." It fell short of the joyful conclusion she had envisioned, lacking any sweeping gestures, heartfelt confessions, or moments of salvation. In that instant, Olivia understood that she was free from the need for anyone's validation. She had achieved all she possessed through her relentless effort and unwavering resolve. The path had been arduous, yet it forged her into a resilient and competent individual, one who no longer sought the approval of others. As Harrison made his exit, Olivia cast her gaze out the window. her thoughts swirling with the endless possibilities that lay before her. She possessed a future to shape as she wished, and the world, with all its obstacles, was at last hers to master. The metamorphosis was finalized. Olivia had embraced her strength, and there was absolutely nothing that could hold her back now.